It's 5 days to Election Day 2024, and there's a lot on the line. Probably the most consequential election in my lifetime. We've got the presidential race, and almost more importantly, we have 10 constitutional amendments on abortion up for grabs. We'll talk about it today on the program. Hey friends, Mark Harrington here, and if you like what you hear and see on the program, you can go to markharrington.org and subscribe to the podcast, and also follow me on all the social media platforms. Well, today we're going to be talking about election 2024 from your ace predictor. That's me. Sometimes I get it right, sometimes I don't get it right, but I've got a lot of big ones right in the past. I predicted Obama's election in 2008. I got the Cavaliers NBA championship in 2016 and Ohio State University's championship in 2014. I've done okay, and I'm decent on sports predictions. I'm better at politics, and I'm going to give you some of my analysis, that is, regarding the election of 2024 and a few predictions. I know you've been waiting with bated breath just to hear what I'm going to tell you today, but hopefully I can give you a few insights into the election for president and, more importantly, even the constitutional amendments. So let's jump right in. We're only 5 days out. It's neck and neck for the presidential race. If you look at the Real Clear Politics average, which, by the way, if you don't know about realclearpolitics.com, it is the best website to track the election. Why? Because what it does is averages all the polls. Every single poll that comes out regarding the presidential election or the battleground states is on realclearpolitics.com. I've been following Real Clear Politics for many election cycles. It's a very informative website. And so if you don't know about it, now you do. You can watch it for the next couple of days. What they do is average out the polls. And currently in the national polling, Donald Trump is in the lead over Kamala Harris by 0.5%. That's how close it is, 0.5%. Now, what's important about this is if you look at the last two elections, in 2020, Biden was, according to the Real Clear Politics, Biden was up 7.4% at this time, 5 days out from the election. In 2016, Hillary Clinton was up by 1.3%. So if the polling remains, consistent, then Donald Trump's doing really well in the national polls here. He's polling better than he was in 2016. He's polling a lot better than he was in 2020. Now, we might look and see, well, have they fixed their polling? Because they got it wrong in both of these, as you know. Trump beat Clinton and Trump lost to Biden, but only by a razor's edge. So the polling's been off. The question is, have they fixed the polling, and is this a more accurate picture of where we stand? We don't know. Of course, the final poll is on November 5th, and we'll find out then or thereafter. So this is the national polling. Trump is ahead by 0.5 with Harris, against Harris in the Real Clear Politics average. This is a good thing for Donald Trump. Although it doesn't matter if he wins the national poll or the national election, right, popular vote, because we have an electoral college. So what I'd like to do now is just go through each one of these battleground states real quickly and show you where Donald Trump stands as regards the battleground states, which, of course, they're the ones that matter. And there are 7 of those: Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and North Carolina, and Georgia. Those are the battleground states. Those are the ones that are going to determine the election for president. If you look at Arizona, Donald Trump is up 2.4 points, 2.4% right now, today. In 2020, it was a tie at this time, 5 days out. And in 2016, Trump was up by 4 points in Arizona. So Trump's polling better than he was in both of these years, in 2020 and 2016. So I think we can safely say that Donald Trump, if everything remains constant, and if the election was today, Donald Trump's going to carry Arizona. Let's go to the next state, Nevada. Donald Trump is up 0.3%. Is that right? 0.3% in Nevada. Again, we look at 2020, Biden was up by 4, and in 2016, Trump was up by 2. So that's a close race, too close to call, probably. I would likely not put Nevada in the Trump category right now. So let's go to the next state. Wisconsin, part of the blue wall, what they call the blue wall, which includes Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. Wisconsin, right now, it shows Kamala Harris up by 0.2 percentage points. If you look at 2020, Biden was ahead by 6.7, and in 2016, Clinton was ahead by 5.4. Again, Donald Trump is polling better here and in every battleground state and on the national polling than he was in either 2016 or 2020. So right now, Kamala Harris has a small lead in Wisconsin. All right, let's go to the next state. The dumpster fire of Michigan, right? Kamala Harris is up by 0.4%. Again, 2020, Biden was up by 8.2. Now, think about this. She's polling terribly compared to 2020. And in 2016, Clinton was up by 6.3. So Harris is ahead just barely in Michigan as of today, 5 days out to the election. All right, next state is the state of Pennsylvania, the all-important state. I think the election comes down to Pennsylvania. Trump is up by 0.7%. If you look at 2020, Biden was up by 4.3. In 2016, Clinton up by 3.5. Again, Trump polling better than he did in the last 2 elections. So if the election were today and these polls are accurate, Trump would carry Pennsylvania. Let's go to the next state, North Carolina. North Carolina shows Trump up by 1 percentage point. 1 percentage point, 1 point. 2020, Biden was up by 0.6. In 2016, Trump was up by 1 percentage point. So Trump is doing what he was doing in 2016. He carried the state ultimately in 2016. All right, next state is the state of Georgia, with Trump lost in 2020. Of course, that was the one where allegedly there was a lot of election fraud. But Trump is up there right now by 2.8%. And compared to 2020, where Biden was up by 0.4, and in 2016, Trump was up by 5.7. So he's doing better than he was doing in 2020, not as well as 2016. All right, so those are the battleground states currently. Now, what I'm going to tell you is that I think if I were to predict today, I'm going to say, and I'm going to go to my whiteboard here, kind of like Karl Rove, for all you boomers out there that have been around long enough to remember Karl Rove. Karl Rove was the architect of the George W. Bush presidential campaign that led to 2 terms for George W. Bush. Karl Rove is still on Fox News. Every once in a while, he gets out this whiteboard, right? He's famous for the whiteboard. So I'm going to pull out the whiteboard. I'm going to give you my prediction as of 5 days out from the election of 2024. And this is it right now. That is Trump, 281 electoral votes, and Harris at 257. That's my prediction, 281, 257. I predict that Trump is going to pick up Arizona, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia. If he does that, he wins the White House, 281 to 257. That means that Harris is going to pick up the swing states of Nevada, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Nevada, Michigan, Wisconsin. Now, it could go a different way. I think Wisconsin's up for grabs. It's possible that Trump might carry that. If he does, it would go to 297, 241. I don't think that's out of the question. I think Trump is going to win the White House. I believe it'll be 281, 257, but it might even be 297, 241. Now, that's assuming that we have a somewhat fair election. As Steve Bannon has been saying most recently, this needs to be an overwhelming victory for Donald Trump. 297, 241 would be an overwhelming electoral victory for Donald Trump. And if it is, than any accusations or allegations of voter fraud by the left, which, by the way, they contest elections too, by the way. They did it in 2016 when Donald Trump was elected the first time, and they are lawyering up, boy. Mark Elias has been hired by the Harris campaign. He's that slip and fall sleazeball lawyer that was involved in the what a lot of people would think that was the 2020 election that was stolen from Donald Trump. They've hired him, and they've got lawyers on the ground already suing in some of these states. So who knows how many days it might take before we get to a final outcome here, a final vote. It might take a few days, especially in Pennsylvania. Doesn't even start counting their votes until Election Day. How is that, by the way? I mean, they have early voting. They got mail-in voting. Why can't they just start counting them sooner? It doesn't make any sense to me, other than there's something nefarious going on here. But anyway, I would say that Donald Trump is going to win the White House 281 to 257, with the chance that it might go 297, 241. For what it's worth, that is your Ace Predictor's prediction for the 2024 presidential election. Very important. Donald Trump, in my opinion, needs to win the White House for a couple of reasons. First off, as I've said in many occasions here on the show, he is, to me, a bulwark against tyranny. He would slow down the decay of the country, and most importantly, the takeover of our institutions, our all the branches of government. Most importantly, our intelligence departments, the Department of Justice, the FBI, and all those, and not being used, hopefully slowing down their ability, or at least possibly even stopping their ability to attack and take on their political opponents, and using the instrumentalities of government to bring down their opposition. That's what we're facing right now. Pro-lifers are sitting in prison right now because of the Harris-Biden administration. Donald Trump could slow that down. Also, in foreign policy, he's pledged not to get in any more wars, wants to get us out of wars. I'm for that. I hope many people are. He'd be better on the economy, probably marginally for me. I'm not sure that to me is not the main issue, of course. But Donald Trump would do some things in his role as president of the United States as regards the abortion issue. The first is that he would more than likely, I hope, and he proved it when he put 3 justices on the Supreme Court that overturned Roe v. Wade, federal judges. He can make a big difference when it comes to federal judges, when it comes to the Supreme Court of the United States, nominating strict constructionists to the court, which is still important, by the way. We need to hold on to our slim majority there because, it could flip the other way on abortion and a lot of other questions, right? He can use the bully pulpit, although lately, of course, he's been caving on abortion. He would be better than Kamala Harris on abortion. He would sign executive orders that would protect the unborn, and he can, if necessary, veto legislation that would come to his desk that would expand abortion on a federal level, which is what they want to do. They want to bring up the Women's Health Protection Act, and Donald Trump would more than likely veto that. So that's my prediction, 281, 257. Donald Trump takes the White House. Okay, friends, let's switch gears to the constitutional amendments that are on the ballot on November 5th. And I've been talking about these in detail over the last several months. There are 10 of them. Florida, South Dakota, Nebraska, Missouri, Nevada, Montana, Arizona, Colorado, Maryland, and New York. I'm going to predict, and I don't want to jinx anything because there's still time left in all these states between now and November 5th. But I'm going to predict that we are going to win 2 and lose 8. And of those 8 losses, 2 of them are, done deals to begin with. That is Maryland and New York. Abortion's already legal up to the very moment of birth there, so it doesn't really matter. But the ones that I think we're going to be able to prevail in are Florida and South Dakota. And Florida, as I've been saying, and where we have invested most of our resources here at Created Equal, really is the quintessential battle this time around. Why? Florida is a very populous state. Florida, I think there's like 33 abortion clinics there. Florida has a governor that's very pro-life. Florida's a battleground. Florida is just a very important state, and that's why it's important we prevail there. Also, Florida has a 60% threshold. And so, if we were to lose Florida, that would be a real gut blow to the gut, if you will, to the pro life movement and to the babies. So, I think we're going to prevail in Florida. The most recent polling shows that the no side is ahead, 54-38. So that's good. You just have to keep it under 60, right? We'll see on election day. The pro side has outspent. That is the Amendment 4. The ones who are supporting that have outspent the no side $100 million to $6 million. So we've been terribly outspent there. The difference is we have a governor called Ron DeSantis who has made this his primary issue this time around in this election. He has gone on the stump. He's raised money. He's used the Florida government, that is, to create PSAs, public service announcements, regarding this amendment. If it were to pass, he's written up summary language that will appear on the ballot on the day of the election and when you go to cast your ballot. So all these things are working in our favor. I think we'll win Florida. South Dakota, it's razor thin margin right now. And if you would, Mr. Producer, bring that one up. Okay. It shows right now that the no side is at 48% and the yes side is at 45. Obviously, it's a very small state. Sioux Falls is the biggest city. But it looks like we might prevail there. I think it's still a toss-up, but I'm going to say that we will win that one. The only one that I guess there's a chance that we will prevail beyond this would be Nebraska. And Nebraska is a very interesting one because there's actually two initiatives on the ballot. The first is Initiative 434, which is the yes, which is the pro-abortion amendment. And then there's a Initiative 439, which deals with protecting the unborn before viability. I'm sorry, after viability. So there's actually two competing ballot measures here. One that would protect children after viability, in other words, late term abortion, and one that would not, that would basically expand abortion up to birth. So that's where there's actually two, one yes, one for the pro-life side, one against. It's possible that both of them could pass, and we'll see what happens there. But I think in the other states, I think the polling shows, and just we are being outspent and everything else. Missouri, Nevada, Montana, Arizona, and Colorado are likely going to go, unfortunately, in the wrong direction. So where does that leave us here? As I said, I predict that Donald Trump's going to prevail in the presidential election. Could take days, could take weeks before we find out, because some of these states, specifically, for example, Pennsylvania doesn't even start counting their votes until the day of November 5th in the morning. I mean, they know by the end of the day, you're probably not going to have an answer, not going to have a winner. Unless it's a pretty much a blowout. So it could take days and longer than that before we know. But I think Donald Trump's going to prevail. I think we're going to go 2 for 8 on constitutional amendments. So where does that leave us? Win or lose in the constitutional amendments, 2 or 8, what have you, we are losing. I know people don't want to hear that. We are losing a winnable battle. And a lot of that has to do with the messaging. I have been saying ever since Ohio that we need to make the main thing the main thing. We need to talk about abortion and make it the premier issue that we're dealing with, because that's what this is about. But yet the polling and all the pundits and all the people who supposedly know better say, oh, no, we can't talk about abortion. We don't want to make it about abortion because if we do, we lose. Well, I got news for you. If we do talk about abortion or we don't talk about abortion, we're going to lose. And so I think we need to make the main thing the main thing. And unfortunately, in a lot of these states, we're still not doing that, and we haven't learned. So that's my wrap up. Again, Donald Trump, I think, will prevail 281 to 257, and we will win 2 of the 10 constitutional amendments. So, all right. So, what's the call to action? Call to action here is that there's still time left for you to volunteer. You can be involved in the Florida constitutional amendment battle by going to vote no on 4florida.com. It's not too late to make phone calls. If you live in the state of Florida, it's not too late to go door to door. So go to vote no on 4Florida. That's vote no on 4florida.com and volunteer. So that's the one. I mean, the main one that we can get involved in. It's the most important one, and that is Florida. Beyond that, friends, we are going to be going on the Justice Ride that's coming up very soon to the state of Florida. Win or lose, we're going, and we're loading up bus loads of young people and taking them on the road. And if you have a young person, if you're a parent of a young person that's 15 years or older, we look forward to having you have them come on the Justice Ride. And so that is going to be from February 28th to March 8th in the state of Florida. We start from Columbus and we head to Florida. We go to all the college campuses down there and we train people on the bus and in the classroom, and then we take them out on the streets. So you can go to justiceride.org. That's justiceride.org to find out more. We'd love to have your young person join us on this most important training program. All right. So there it is. There's my wrap up. There's my predictions for the election of November 2024. We'll see you next time. God bless you. God bless America. And remember, America, to bless God.
You've been listening to Mark Harrington, your radio activist. For more information on how to make a difference for the cause of life, liberty, and justice, go to createdequal.org. To follow Mark, go to markharringtonshow.com. Be sure to tune in next time for your marching orders in the culture war.